Jim Carafano. Follow him, Jay Carafano on Twitter. Jim, why are you so ebullient today?
Well, this deal between Israel and the United Emirates that was announced yesterday, they're going to normalize relations. I mean, I could speak for hours about how transformative this is, of not just America.
Just tell us why. Give us the headlines. Why is this big?
Here's the biggest of the big. For decades, we've been told this lie that nothing can happen in the Middle East until Israel and Palestine settled their differences, and that everything was held hostage to that, and nothing could get done. And because of that, essentially what we did is we gave a bunch of terrorists a veto over the entire future of the people of the region.
Bingo.
And what Donald Trump has done is he has put that lie to the test. And he said, you know what? We don't have to wait to bring peace between people for the Palestinians to decide they've been bribed enough. And now that we have broken that logjam, other Gulf states will normalize relations. Likely the Sudan will, and people will move on. So it literally is a transformative step in the region.
And isn't it clear, Jim, that this deal, this brokered deal from the Trump administration between the UAE and Israel, all the right people are saying it's good, and all the wrong people are saying it's bad? I mean, it's the ultimate litmus test for the future of the region, isn't it?
Well, you know what's really interesting is if you read Vice President Biden's statement on this, he's actually very complimentary of the deal, and he's actually very complimentary to Israel, which goes to show that there's a big problem here because, half of his base, they hate Israel. And there are many people that they would want to. The United States have nothing to do with Israel, nothing to do with Egypt, nothing to do with Saudi Arabia, all the countries that the United States has to work with to build this counter against Iran and to bring peace and prosperity to the region. So even though the vice president said nice things, he would have a really hard time sustaining this policy because half the people that would want him in don't support this.
Well, not only that, he came from an administration that did the opposite. I think you agree with me that the Iran deal, the JCPOA Iran deal, which released almost $150 billion to Iran, was the antithesis of what we saw announced yesterday. It was actually something that destabilized the region more than stabilized it.
Well, I mean, this, again, gets to the point where Trump is the first president in Iran in a long, long time to get things more right than wrong. I mean, George Bush, God bless him, for whatever else he thought, their solution was jump into the region with both feet and fix everything, and that just didn't really solve anything. But Obama came along and said, no, we're just going to run away and turn our back on the region. And that just made everything almost worse. And remember what Bush inherited when he what Trump inherited when he came in from office from Obama. You know, murderous ISIS caliphate. Yep. Iraq was getting ready to collapse. Syria was in the middle of a civil war.
Libya.
All the Iranian surrogates were on a march, and Trump is kind of, and Iran was worse because of the Iran deal. Trump, he put out all those fires. Iran deal's dead. Iran's put in its little box. Syrian civil war is not a regional crisis anymore. Iraq's as stable as it's been in forever. And now he is building on that. And what he's building is something that gets away from either we're going to solve the Middle East for them or we're going to ignore them. Here's what we're going to do. Donald Trump is. We will be there for you. We will be friends to our friends. We will support you. But this is your neighborhood. And so you're going to have to stand up in your neighborhood and take responsibility for your neighborhood, and then we will backstop you. And we will work together to contain Iran. We will work together to stop the terrorists. And here's the deal. We will work together to build economic growth and prosperity in the region like you have never seen, because the problem the Middle East has always had is there's no economic integration.
Right.
They don't trade with each other, visit each other. So now trade, tourism, all these things are going to be connected together in the region. It's going to create vast economic opportunity. Americans, foreign investment's going to come in. The ties between the United States and these countries are going to be closer. And we're going to squeeze out the space, squeeze out the Chinese, squeeze out the Iranians, squeeze out the terrorists. And in the Middle East, for the first time, really in almost 2 centuries, the Middle East will be a net exporter of good things.
Yes, it has a chance, truly transformative, truly catalytic, made possible by the Trump administration. This is the power of America to do good, not by telling you what to do, but by facilitating what should happen long, long ago. He's Jim Carafano from an undisclosed location doing very important things. Follow him right now at JJ Carafano. Read the Heritage Foundation's new report on Portland, What Next, and join them today. God bless you, Jim. Have an amazing weekend. I'm Sebastian Gorka. This is America First on the Salem Radio Network.